Welcome back to the Viking Update Show starring John Krawczynski. I'm Jim Souhan with the Star Tribune. John, of course, writes for The Athletic. John also is the namesake of the John Krawczynski Show here at TalkNorth.com. Check it out. Any show you like at TalkNorth.com, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's the easiest way to listen. The Viking Update Show is coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios.
Scott for Aquarius. Summer's all about fun, not flickering lights and faulty plumbing. From fixing that runaway toilet and not so hot water heater to installing generators for whole home backup power, Aquarius has your back. Right now, get $98 off any electrical or plumbing repair. Fast, friendly, and ready to rescue your summer from household chaos. Aquarius. Local, trusted, family-owned, and earning the right to be recommended. Schedule today at AquariusHomeservices.com.
Hey, it's Mark Rosen with a reminder to tune into my podcast, Rosen Sports Monday, every week here on Talk North Sports. We cover the gamut from the broadcasting industry to the sports personalities in town. So don't miss it. Rosen Sports Monday here on Talk North Sports.
And the Viking Update Show is presented to you by Giggly THC Beverages and OnX Hunt. Thanks to all of our sponsors, all of our listeners. We do appreciate it. This is a dead period in the NFL, a rare dead period in the NFL, but we do have things to talk about. And before we get to actual on-the-field football, I just have to ask this question. Who would be dumb enough to get in a fight with Adrian Peterson?
It's a great question, Jim, because you and I have both shaken his hand before.
It hurts.
And it hurts. And so I cannot imagine saying that's a guy that I'm going to climb in the ring with, especially at some kind of poker tournament or something where there is nothing standing in the way of him just straight up beating my ass. So very unwise on the part of that player, whatever happened there. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. And what it reminded me of is that people underestimate just how superhuman the best professional athletes are. And I remember seeing a video, I'm sure you saw it too at the time, where Cam Newton was walking around with his peacock outfit on and, and some guys picked a fight with him and he just treated them like rag dolls. These guys, you don't mess with Adrian Peterson. Unless you're another Adrian Peterson, you don't mess with Adrian Peterson. You don't mess with Cam Newton. Cam Newton is like 6'5", 240 pounds, all muscle. And these guys train all their lives and they have superior genes. They just do. They are superior physically to the rest of humanity. So I'm always a little bit, listen, I don't think it's a good thing that Adrian Peterson got in a fight, but, I'm always bemused when people think they can actually stand up to a professional athlete.
It's incredible. And I'll even say just watching that video, it did not look like Adrian is a fighter. Right. In terms of, he stumbled a little bit. It wasn't smooth or anything like that. But you saw as it went on that he just kept coming at the dude. And eventually he was going to get in front of him and overpower him and just snuff the life out of him. Like you could hit Adrian 17 times and it wouldn't faze him. And all he does is just keep coming at you and keep coming at you because he is maybe the most imposing physical specimen I've seen, and been around just in person. I mean, he is big, but he is just thick and strong and there's nothing that phases him. So it didn't matter that the dude, landed a punch here or there. Nothing was going to stop Adrian from coming at him until he got him into close quarters. And then it was going to be just over for that dude.
Yes. I think since the last time we talked, Jaire Alexander has signed with the Baltimore Ravens. I just get the sense, the way this team operates, the aggression they show in free agency, their willingness to spend money on veteran free agents and the success they've had doing that. I just get the sense that they're going to make one more cornerback move before the end of the summer. I just don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah, I think so too. How they prioritize it or exactly who they're looking at, I don't know. We've seen some of the names out there. But for this particular instance, when Jaire Alexander first became available, there was a lot of sort of people, I think us included, that just said, yeah, well, the Vikings should look at him. But I never got the sense at all that the organization was seriously contemplating him for whatever reason, whether it was health, whether it was concerns about how things ended in Green Bay or what was going on there. It just did not seem like he was high on their list to really look into and to really like just make an effort to bring in. So that does tell me that they have their eyes on others, because I agree with you, Jim. I don't think that they want to go into training camp, or certainly, I guess, into the regular season, let's say, with this group of cornerbacks just as currently constructed. One more veteran body, I think would be helpful. And I think they know that as well. And yeah, it's a matter of who is it? Is it Jalen Ramsey? Is it someone else? That, you know, they bring in, but that very well could be in the middle of training camp and, you know, Stephon Gilmore of just kind of waltzing in, get a couple reps under your belt and then just get out there and start playing.
Yeah. And it could be Stephon Gilmore again too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you know, I guess why wouldn't it be? Is my question. I mean, we saw maybe a little bit of a drop off from him last year as the season went along, but still valuable, still really smart. I think he really likes this defense and he really likes being here. And in the absence of options elsewhere, you know, he would be a nice safety blanket just to have, you know, as someone who knows the system, can come in, and maybe you don't need him to be the full-time starter and, you know, play a ton of snaps and all that. Maybe he's more of a fill-in guy and a depth guy, but that I would be fine with that option if that was the way that they wanted to deploy him.
And looking back at, you know, my initial reaction, a lot of people's initial reaction when Alexander became available, you know, I thought, hey, if you have a really strong locker room and a strong defensive coordinator, strong organization, you know, you can bring one guy who might not be the perfect citizen in your locker room. And I also thought the fact that they had Aaron Jones there could help with that. You know, looking back at it, maybe I shouldn't have ignored the reddest of red flags, which is that he's a very good player and the Packers did not seem to be bothered at all by him leaving.
Yes, I think that to me was like, what's the reddest red that there is? I mean, blood red flag, because, I was frankly a little stunned at Mark Murphy.
Yeah.
You know, just saying, yeah, well, you know, he didn't really play for us that much or whatever. Like, you know, it was something flippant like that. And that just is not the tone that you normally hear, especially from the Packers. But really from most general managers, most head coaches, they kind of just do things to be respectful and move on. And they don't do anything that might inflame the situation. But I thought that the way most of the Packers reacted to that exit was, indications that they were just done with this guy. And, that certainly would factor in for me if I'm Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, if I'm Kevin O'Connell, if I'm Brian Flores. It's like, it feels in some ways that if any roster could handle a player like that, it might be the Vikings. Like I feel confident that they can absorb, an a-hole, and like, you know, every team needs one or two of them. But, at the same time, if, you know, they kind of did their due diligence and they just saw how this was all playing out, I could see, you know what, this guy is too much of a headache for where he's at in his career arc, that we don't want to mess with it. That would be completely understandable.
All right. It's always fun and easy to talk about cornerback, quarterback, running backs, receivers. We're going to get to the line play. How much have the Vikings improved their lines, and would that affect the way, not only their success level, but the way they play, the way they call things, the way, you know, maybe their sustainability going forward here. First, though, I want to tell you more about Giggly THC beverages. Use the promo code GigglyNorth to get a discount on your first order. And also go to the website. If you've already used Giggly North, every time you go to the website, they have some kind of a deal going on. I recommend starting with one of their variety packs because I like all of the cocktail flavors. I like alternating, and they all taste great. And what you have to remember here, this is a way to drink something that tastes good and that relaxes you, that is healthy, gluten-free, vegan, made with fruit juice, and will not give you a hangover, will not leave you feeling lethargic the next day. They have ashwagandha and ginseng in there. Now they are selling gummies and chocolates. They also have seltzers and teas. I just love it all. Mostly for me, it's the cocktails that I get to drink something that tastes like a cocktail on a weeknight and know that when I wake up at 6 a.m. to walk the dogs, I'm going to feel really good. I'm going to hop out of bed because I don't have a hangover. It's a great way to live. So they are selling them at Quick Trips. They also deliver it nationwide. So go to Giggly.com, Gigli.com, use promo code Giggly North for your first order to get a discount. Keep coming back to the website. You'll find other discounts and enjoy it. I really enjoy this stuff. And I think you will too. That's what we kind of do here. We try to tell people about companies, Minnesota companies that do good work, that you should know about. I also want to tell you about Onyx Fish. The weather is warming up, and that means it's time to put your augers away and it's time to grab the boat. Let Onyx Fish help you find the next best bite. The Fish app offers the most comprehensive fishing tool for increasing your success. Use the Fish app to find new places to fish and sort lakes by species, abundance, trophy, and keeper potential. Onyx Fish also shows you hot spots, lake by lake regulations, and private and public land ownership information. Download Onyx Fish on the app store or go to onyxmaps.com/fish to get more information about the app that is changing the game on ice. All right. So you look at their lines and we are seeing a major overhaul. Obviously, they bring in Fries, they bring in Kelly, they draft Donovan Jackson, so the completely new interior of the offensive line, and they re-sign Harrison Phillips. They bring in Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. Again, it's not the sexiest stuff to talk about. It's not the flashiest stuff to talk about. But let's start with do you think this makes them more Lions-like, more of a physical team that is hard to play against on a week-by-week basis?
I mean, I think it gets them closer to that for sure. Especially when you look at the offensive line. You get Darrisaw back. He is a mauler. Brian O'Neill is a great right tackle. But then you add Ryan Kelly and Will Fries. I think they are both physical players. Garrett Bradbury was not a physical player. He was a solid center for them for a while, but just a different type of player. And then Donovan Jackson, he's a rookie, but I just love taking guys from the offensive lines of like Ohio State, Alabama, like the big time LSU, big time programs that like just seem to churn out these nasty, monster players. And so, on the offensive line, I just do think you're going to see a tougher, more imposing physically, from a physical perspective, unit. And I think that's exactly what they need. They just haven't had that sort of a presence in the, and on the up front in front of their quarterback for a while now. And so that it is moving in that direction. Then you do look at, I'm really intrigued by the defensive line, Jim, because I think Allen and Hargrave have just huge resumes, and I just want to see where they're at this point in their careers from a physical standpoint. But if they can come close to who they have been in the past, that's a dominant front line. So both sides of the ball are, it feels like, Jim, like they're closer to what Mike Zimmer wanted from a personality perspective and never got to. And this is a nasty front on both sides. And so I think Vikings fans should be encouraged by that.
Yes. And I'm really, what intrigues me most at the moment is you're going to have a virtual rookie at quarterback. And O'Connell and Phillips are really good at scheming things inside the 20. Sometimes they score touchdowns where the receiver's just wide open. It's an easy throw underneath to Aaron Jones or Addison back of the end zone, whatever it is. But I think they would like to be more physical inside the 20. I think they want to run the ball more, especially inside the 10. Now you have a big physical offensive line, should be a very good run and blocking unit. And you have Jordan Mason, who's one of the most physical runners in the NFL. I just think it's going to make sense to try to score more on the run inside the 10. Also have that be a threat. So when you do drop back, you can use play action and maybe you clear things up a little, make things a little easier for McCarthy.
Yeah, I do think that a huge key to the offensive success going into this season with McCarthy is to really make the running game an enormous part of what they do. And with Jones and Mason as the backs, I do think you're going to see a real timeshare there. Like, this isn't 1 and 2, it's 1A and 1B. And that's going to be critical because you want to, kind of have Jones on a pitch count and save him a little bit, but Mason just gives you more kind of oomph and pop, in that second running back role that they haven't had for a while. And I think he also is explosive. So he's got kind of the best of both worlds, where we've seen kind of in the past, several years, we've seen backup running backs for the Vikings who are either really quick or thumpers, and Mason is both of those. And so, I do think having that element of the running game to take some of the pressure off of McCarthy, but then to the point of this whole conversation of having an offensive line that will get after a defense and open holes and wear them down over the course of a game, that's just going to be critical to letting McCarthy find his way, and letting McCarthy ease into things. And so you don't have to put as much on his shoulders, and then he can be a little bit more confident, a little bit more free and easy. But, I'm anticipating that this group comes out and really does try to dictate the terms of engagement, in the running game a lot more than we've seen this team do in the Kevin O'Connell era. And it does also skew toward O'Connell being comfortable with an offense that runs. And I think that's going to be a little bit of a departure from what he's used to, but I think it's also very doable. So I'm excited for this running game with this offensive line, with these backs. I think they have the chance to be a team that can really bleed a defense out as the game goes on. And so that's going to be fun to watch.
One thing I've noticed lately is when I do a live show for TalkNorth.com, when I go to a meeting, when I walk around town, when I'm on a date night with my wife, when I go out to a local restaurant, when I know I'm going to be seen in public. Now, everything I wear, I got at twillmn.com. That's Twill in the Dining Galleria. That's Scott Dayton's great shop. The most friendly, best shopping experience you're going to have in the Twin Cities, the best men's clothing store you're going to have in the Twin Cities. And, what I love, and I keep saying it because it's true, is that when I was a kid, I associated nice clothes, dress up clothes, with being uncomfortable, with having, the collar too tight around your neck, with the pants that really didn't fit you well, the shirt that didn't fit you well. Everything I wear from Twill, even when it's a suit, even when it's a sport coat, even when it is nice clothes that I want to keep nice, I feel like I could play golf in them. There's the new flexible fabrics are so comfortable and so breathable. You just can be comfortable. And I love the fact that I can now dress up, look decent, look as decent as I'm capable of looking, and be absolutely as comfortable as when I'm wearing a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. So, whether it's Dingman shoes, my Johnny O stuff, my Peter Millar stuff, the Brax pants, the Barricot t-shirts, the quarter zips from Johnny O and Peter Millar, the corduroys I wear in the winter. Everything I wear these days, if I want to look decent, is from Twill. You should try it out. Go to twillmn.com, sign up for their email alerts. They'll only send you something like once every couple months when they have a special event. But go into the shop. They're just really nice people. It's a really relaxed environment. Just look around. You'll find something you like. You'll find something you want to buy somebody else as a gift. And tell them Talk North and Jim Souhan and John Krawczynski sent you. Now here's Talk North star Michael Russo for Clamshell Beach Resorts.
Hey, have you been dreaming of a lake cabin lifestyle with boating, fishing, and family fun in northern Minnesota? Well, lately I've thought a lot about how cool it would be to have a getaway like so many Minnesotans. And if you're like me, you probably think that owning your own lakeside getaway is beyond your budget. Well, if you think lake cabin real estate prices keep going up, well, think again. This is Russo, and I'm here to tell you there is an affordable way to enjoy a cabin lifestyle and all that goes with it. And yes, I said affordable. I founded a clamshell beach resort, which is located on the Whitefish chain of 14 lakes for you and your family to enjoy. Here's how. Clamshell has lake homes that offer deeded fractional ownership, and the keywords there are deeded and fractional. You own it. Imagine having 5 weeks a year to enjoy Clamshell with its beaches, pool, and lodge that's full of kids' activities. Is golf your game? There's a great golf course right across the road. Like winter sports? Well, you can go ice fishing, cross-country skiing, or snowmobiling right out the door at Clamshell. And there's no maintenance, no grass mowing, no snow removal. It's done all for you. And you can own a share of Clamshell Beach Resort at an affordable price. To learn more about ownership opportunities at Clamshell Beach Resort, go to cottagesonwhitefish.com or contact Pat Egan at 612-220-9819. That's cottagesonwhitefish.com or Pat Egan at 612-220-9819.
Also want to tell you about Natrium. I use their balms for sore joints, sore muscles all the time. I use their oils for gut health. What I really use, and what I use most of all is their sleep aids. It's just really comforting when I know I need to sleep well, when I know I have a big day the next day, when I have had trouble sleeping, when I'm having trouble getting to bed at a reasonable time. You just take one of the sleep gummies and you just drift off into sleep. You sleep soundly. You wake up feeling great, ready for the next day. You can find something that fits you perfectly. I would go to the store in St. Louis Park, Natreum, natrium.com. Go to the store in St. Louis Park, talk to the sales professionals. They'll be able to steer you toward the right delivery system, the right flavors, the right dosages, whether you want THC or CBD or a combination of the two. It just makes your life better. So go to natrium.com, use the promo code TalkNorth15 to get 15% off your next order at natrium.com. TalkNorth15, 15% off your next order at natrium.com. So let's get to the defensive line here. They signed Phillips to an extension. He's a good player. They bring in Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave to play the defensive end positions. Also, I think you'll see more production from Dallas Turner this year. I think he'll be bigger and stronger as well. And they already have two great edge rushers and all-around players in Van Ginkel and Grenard. This front looks like it could be, it'll be just really interesting to see how they operate with a little more push from the interior line.
Yeah, I think, this is kind of what we've been looking for from them, for a little while now here is Harrison Phillips is a good nose tackle. But you need a little more, it always felt like they needed a little more bulk. Up front, a little bit more muscle, and Allen and Hargrave bring that in spades. So, the combination of those three guys up front really being able to collapse the interior of an offensive line. And then you have Grenard, you have Van Ginkel, you have Dallas Turner, coming off of the edges. I think it gives Brian Flores so many more tools to work with. There's not anymore the guy that you're like, well, I hope this works out, or, maybe he has a good game coming. As long as these two guys are healthy, they're going to be so dependable, and they have a chance to just give this front an overpowering element that they did not have before. And you add Dallas Turner into that mix. I like Jalen Redmond, as well, in kind of a backup role as well. And so I want to see some of the other new guys that they have and who they're going to rotate through there. But, I just think it does have the potential to be kind of a game wrecking front. And, what that opens up for Brian Flores is going to be huge, because I really do think, Jim, that, kind of where we started this whole podcast conversation with the cornerbacks and what they do there, they're going to want to create as much pressure and force the quarterback to get the ball out of his hands as quickly as possible, just to kind of take a little bit of the pressure off of the secondary. I mean, maybe Blackman really just kind of just jumps into that starting position, does fine. Maybe Jeff Okudah is great there, but there are question marks in the secondary that are going to be there early on. And the more imposing and the more pressure filled the front can be, I think it just really does take some of that burden off of the secondary to cover for longer periods of time. So, I've loved, I'm a huge Jonathan Allen fan for a while now. And I think Hargrave is just a monster. And so, man, when you put them right in between Grenard and Van Ginkel, that's one of the best defensive lines or defensive fronts in football, I think.
No doubt about it. This is such a lull in the sports calendar if the baseball team isn't playing well. Now, the Lynx are very good and very interesting and fun to watch. They don't have that long a schedule, but I'm grateful that they play in our town and help fill up the summer. But man, when the Twins aren't very good and they're terrible right now, I miss the NFL. And there's no solution for that. I don't think they should be playing football in June. And I'm not interested in the other leagues at all. But I don't know. Just, you cover basketball. I cover a little bit of everything. We both cover the Vikings. Do you miss football this time of the year?
You know what? As for me personally, I think I'm in the minority, but I don't right now because we just came off of the NBA season. I like to have a month to just catch my breath. Mm-hmm. And, I like, I have 2 young kids. And so it's just the lifestyle I'm in right now, the season of my life. I'm running around the soccer fields with them. I'm just kind of, I'm hanging at home with the wife. I'm doing those things. And so for me, it's nice to not have that. But once we get to August, I will be in that mode. I'll be ready. I'm like, okay, it's time. Like, let's start watching even some preseason games. Let's look at some practices. Let's get, talking to guys and get back into it. But it, I need a little rest. I need a little break. And so that's great. This is the great time for me, but I understand other people, most of my friends are huge football guys and fantasy football guys and all of that stuff. And so right now is where they start to get a little bit kind of antsy because, basketball season's over. The Twins are terrible. What do I do with my time? And it's like, can we start football now? Even college football? Can we get it going? Can we see some of that on the TV? Like, I get all of that. For me, just give me a little time, little breather, and I'll be right back with y'all starting in August.
And I do think one of the reasons the NFL is so successful is it allows people to get antsy. It allows people.
Scarcity is good.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The fact that you're looking forward to it and it's not close and and it makes you really value the actual season because the season goes by very quickly. It's basically a 4-month season. And you said it. Scarcity has always been good for the NFL.
It has. And what I worry about, Jim, is that they are losing that perspective because you keep adding games, you keep extending the season. It's probably is at a point where the NFL is just so big and so important for these guys, for the country in general, that maybe it is too big to fail. Maybe maybe you can't have too much of it, but I do worry about that. Because you want it to retain its novelty. You want it to, in an era where attention spans are shorter than ever. I really think that the league is in the perfect spot. You're right. It's a 4-month season. It's a long off season. They find ways to, you put in free agency, you put in the combine, you put in the draft, and you're only dormant for, a month and a half at most, but that's an important thing. Like, I think people need to crave it. And that's what kind of keeps the passion levels high. But I just worry that they're going to keep on adding games, extending the season, stretching it out. And we're going to get to a point where it is almost all year round. And that's just going to be too much.
Agreed. Good stuff from John. I think John's going to do this show with, athletic colleague Alec Lewis next week. Alec also has a show on this network. Check that out as well. We also have Jeff Diamond's Vikings and NFL Insider. So as we ramp up toward the season, we have 3 Vikings shows. We also have Mark Rosen, who his Sports Monday show, which frequently talks about the Vikings. And we're going to have a fantasy football show that we will be unveiling here soon. So we have a lot of football content at talknorth.com with great people. Check it all out. Again, if you like the show at talknorth.com, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's the easiest way to listen to us. We do appreciate it. And tune in next week.